Hey there, guys. It's Bree to Play and
her husband, John. Hello.
Hello. So today we're going to talk about our thoughts and our feelings. Or maybe just thoughts.
I don't like to talk about feelings.
Our thoughts on Fortnite. Okay, when we were going in, what were you looking forward to? Because I know that you were the one who suggested it to me.
I was the one who sprung this trap on you. So I'd heard about the game years ago. It's been in development for a while. Initially didn't think much about it, but as they ramped up the hype machine lately, it looked like a fun mix of nice action-y combat and kind of a bite-sized survival gameplay. I hadn't played a lot of games of that style, so it was a good maybe opportunity to go in there and give it a shot.
Mm-hmm.
How about yourself? Why did you let me force you to play?
Okay. Yeah, because a lot of the games that you suggest I actually do say no to.
And that's your right.
That is my right as your wife to say no. But I did say yes to Fortnite because it looked like it had a lot of stuff that I like to do. I like to forage. I like to craft. And then I like to stave off hordes of things.
You do like to shoot things.
I like to shoot things. So I think all of those three combined seems like a very Bree-friendly game.
And that's, all those things combined are basically what makes Fortnite Fortnite.
And that's basically why I like the game.
Yeah. And it's actually a really good duo game as well. I mean, you can play with parties of up to 4 people, but even just as 2 people running in there, I think we've had generally a fairly easy time. Still early, but it's easy enough to have open matchmaking and get some other people in there. We just have to be okay with that.
But the important thing is it's still doable.
It is still doable. Indeed.
Yes, it's doable. Yes. All right. But with the gameplay being cool, that being said...
Yeah, it's basically everything that's not gameplay that's been kind of a sticking point.
That would be my complaints,
yeah.
Right?
It is quite clunky, and this is not something that's a new opinion. I mean, a lot of reviewers have pointed this out. It's once you step outside of the actual map and you get into navigating around the rest of the game, it feels like there's too many clicks, too many types of currency, too many types of loot. It feels like 3 or 4 different Facebook games kind of meshed in together to try and make some kind of weird progression system.
Okay, so to be honest, I had no idea what was going on outside of gameplay for a good while.
Yeah, they don't make it easy to figure out what's going on outside of gameplay. They have some tutorial stuff, but you'll still find yourself getting 3 different types of loot with little idea of like what you actually use this for.
Yeah, and my confusion, I think, was a little simpler. I didn't even know there were, like, points to collect until you were like, hey, have you been collecting your points? And I'm like, what points?
Yeah, any one of the 6 different kinds of points that are in the game.
Yeah, there's a lot of points.
I think clunky's too easy of a word, but it seems very fragmented in its different approaches.
Yeah, it's not well put together. Like, I don't see how things relate to other things necessarily.
Yeah, I think even a more unified user interface when it comes to this might help. If you were able to see maybe all your skill trees at once, if you're able to see your survivors and defenders in an interface that looks more like perhaps a mock-up of a base that you can customize and explore.
Oh, no, I like that idea. That would help me.
Yeah, have a simple base. You can walk in like, oh, there's the actual research team, and there's the survivors that I rescued.
See, okay, that works for me. I could totally do that. I'm a visual person, so these kind of like convoluted trees, I feel like it's, like Windows taken to the extreme.
It is early access, to be fair, but also to be fair, we paid a fair amount of money to get in, and they're selling it in stores. So the interface still has that kind of, as you mentioned, too many windows, kind of an almost like operating system feel.
Yeah, no,
that
exactly.
Doesn't work with the kind of playful graphics that they have.
Well, exactly, yeah, because I see playful graphics. It's fairly simple, fun, actual gameplay. That makes me think, okay, this is going to be like easy breezy. I don't have to think too much about putting points into whatever and finding the right thing. But I feel like I'm looking for a specific file, like in some distant Windows folder that I have to click 10 times to get through.
And you better hope that your survivors have a common personality type when filling out one random team.
Yes.
I can see where those elements would be fun, but they're not presented very cleanly. And it's a lot of micromanagement to get not the best feeling of power out of it, It's like, oh, okay, I have a little more health now because I spent 20 minutes kind of optimizing my dudes. And maybe later on that will make all the difference. But for now, it's not particularly compelling.
I agree.
When it comes to leveling up as well, really, outside of some drops from quests, your main source of loot is going to be loot llamas, which are fun to break, to be fair. And at the end of all that llama smashing, you've got a screen of, dozens of different items, still again, many of which don't seem to make sense.
Yeah, I agree.
On the one hand, I do appreciate the fact that the cash shop is fairly limited in that it's like, oh, I have llamas, and that is effectively it.
We don't want a pay-to-win situation, but I would like a pay-to-look cool.
But I do think there could be ways, as you mentioned, for looking cool, different ways of monetizing even more so that wouldn't be harmful to the actual gameplay.
So would you want to be able to purchase things that loot llamas drop?
That's a tough choice. I feel like there should be a way to reliably grind up things that loot llamas drop. You can get lucky with a llama drop, but I think maybe even, let's call them confetti shards or candy bits. Every llama drops a certain amount, and if you trade in this certain amount, you're guaranteed to at least get something of this quality. It's going to be the same item, but it rewards people who've spent $100 on llamas. They can eventually get what they want.
I see.
Some other cash out games do this, and hopefully they'll have a system like that as well.
I just want a fancy hat.
And that's fine. And I think there's room to have different looking things, different hats, different costumes. I'd like to see a plush, like husk hoodie, so they can blend in with them. They have human hoodies, so it's only fair.
Would that allow you to travel amongst the husks unknown?
Perhaps some sort of husk infiltration mission? Sure.
Yes. Wouldn't that be cool?
Yeah.
That'd be a fun side thing.
Some sort of husk home base.
Yes.
I think even having different skins for your materials, like when you build walls, maybe you have a husk-themed wall or a winter-themed wall. You've been watching a lot of Game of Thrones. So.
You could make murals or something.
You could make murals.
Well, that's the kind of stuff that I want to buy is the cosmetic stuff, not the hey, this makes me a better player, but this makes me like flashy and my fort looks cool. So overall, I mean, it's been a fun game. I think I'm kind of just blindly putting stuff into my skill tree because I don't read. Just FYI to anybody listening, I don't read. So I just like randomly put stuff in there, and I'm like, why is my character not doing this? Why do I not have this?
I mean, it would be beneficial to maybe check out a little bit more of the skill tree and what that does. But we'll get there.
But aside from that, I am looking forward to the update coming out because they're going to have a longer survival period.
Yeah, and I think that's something the game really needs. They've mentioned it will be limited time only, but I do hope that they extend that because if the meat of the gameplay is getting into a map, surviving, building a base, and having waves of minis coming at you, I feel like a lot of the missions are too stingy with that gameplay.
They're really too short. I mean, you get a few waves that are, like 10, 15 minutes each?
Yeah.
And then you get like a 5-minute break in between them.
And I don't want every match to be that long or to be an extended slog fest, but I think if you're gonna buy into that gameplay, like have some options where you can just hop in and stay there until you're done, until you want to leave.
Yeah, and I see what they're doing with the community aspect by trying to, do the pug group kind of thing. But I think it would really be cool to have like the longer term mission of, like, hey, here's town X, whatever, here's this random place.
Oh, town X.
Yeah, town X. Fortify it, keep it. And then you have to go. And it's not like, a 20-minute mission. It's like, okay, here's this daytime period that actually lasts a decent amount of time. You forage, you build, and then there's a longer wave that actually kind of simulates a night, like an entire night. And then you get to day again, and you get to like build it up and add to it and fortify it some more.
Kind of a longer campaign.
Yeah, like a campaign.
Rather than bite-sized missions.
Right.
I feel that. I think even going on that, having a community effort to build zones, I'm thinking of something like Helm's Deep or the Wall in the North.
Oh, like a guild area, but not necessarily a guild.
Yeah,
right?
not necessarily a guild, but even guild, wider community, something that whether you log into it and contribute to it, or whether your success contributes to this overall project, I think having a bigger sense of a Husk invasion, a bigger sense of trying to defend your territory would be pretty cool.
Yeah.
I want to like maybe log out one night after having contributed, wake up the next morning, it's like, oh, part of the wall is falling. Let me log into that section and try to help build things up before the next wave comes in at a certain interval.
Yeah, no, I think it'd be cool. It'd be like an instance where, people can drop in and out as they have time.
Yeah.
But then, like, the waves just keep coming and everything just keeps going.
So I do hope they get some more stuff like that. Even if they just keep what they have now and refine that user interface, if they make it maybe a little less grindy in the future.
Yeah.
I've heard it gets difficult, but maybe frustratingly difficult in the future. I'm fine with some difficulty, but when it becomes sort of a paywall, like, oh, I just better buy more llamas and hope I get lucky.
Yeah, no, I don't want that at all. This game struck me from the beginning as just like a fun game. Nothing too serious, nothing that I would rage out and quit over. So I hope it doesn't take that turn.
I hope not too. But I'm glad we got it. We got one of the packs that had a standard edition that came with it, so that's
yeah,
how
no,
I'm playing
right.
it
I mean,
all,
so the both of us got to play,
Yeah.
which is the whole point.
It is the whole point.
But anyway, to wrap it up,
Thanks everybody, and stay tuned for more stuff.
later.